Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Another week has gone by and what an exciting week it was. The weather was great for the most part of the last 7 days. We had a lot of chance to swim in the sea. I spent a lot of time on the bike. I ran exactly as much and as fast as I was supposed to according to my training plan, and I managed to put in a few good strength workouts as well. So I can say this has been my best week so far of my half Ironman prep. I know I wanted to talk about this Zone 2 training this week, but I'm so pumped about my swim right now that I have to talk about it first. Remember last week when I told you I was going to have to put a lot of effort into my swim training because I felt crap in the water both times I got to swim? Now, the fact remains, I need to work a lot on my swim, but I got 3 open swim sessions last week where I felt everything was okay-ish. I didn't freak out at all this time, I didn't have to stop to catch my breath, I felt comfortable in the water and I actually enjoyed swimming big time, which is something I needed very badly. The sea was calm, the weather was beautiful and I was almost back in the same gear as I was before the lockdown. I swam 1,000 meters first and then 12 and 1,300 meters the second and third time without blowing up or getting a twitch or anything like that. All in all, I can say that my swim training is back on track. There is a lot of work to do and I'm sure there will be some bad days with choppy waters and all that, but at least now I can see the light at the end of the tunnel and that can give me extra strength going forward. But now on to the topic of the week, which is Zone 2 training. Just to clarify, I'm not a coach or a personal trainer by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't want to tell anyone how to train or what to do, and I'm only sharing my thoughts and experience of my own triathlon training with you guys. I'm probably making lots of mistakes along the way by not getting help from a professional coach, but that has always been my way of doing things. I always do my research and then try to apply the knowledge to my own training routine. So that's what's happening right now with this Zone 2 training as well. But what is this Zone 2 really? Athletes and more importantly endurance athletes typically use 5 different heart rate zones to describe their effort or exertion level while training or racing. 1 being the easiest, kind of warm-up effort, and 5 being the all-out chest pounding, I cannot keep it long kind of maximum effort. So there is Zone 2 at the lower end of the range and it's just above the very comfortable Zone 1, but it's still comfortable enough for you to keep going for longer periods of time without feeling overexhausted. It's also called a conversational pace because typically when training in Zone 2, you are supposed to be able to hold a conversation and speak in full sentences without gasping for air. In terms of numbers, Zone 2 is different for everyone. It mostly depends on your age and general fitness, and there are countless different calculation methods to tell you which heart rate range is your Zone 2. I've been using Garmin watches and chest heart rate monitors for a while, and based on the data, my Zone 2 ranges from 130 beats per minute to 144. I feel like that's a bit too much, so I tend to, or at least try to keep my heart rate under 140 when doing Zone 2 training. And that's for running only, because on the bike your heart rate works a bit differently and it doesn't climb up as high as easily, so my Zone 2 on the bike is somewhere between 110 BPM and 125 BPM. Again, my watch gives a slightly higher number there, but I rather be on the safe side and keep my heart rate lower most of the time. But why does this matter? What actual benefits does Zone 2 training have? Well, there is plenty. First of all, you can build a better aerobic engine by working out in this easy range. You have to build up this aerobic base before you can step toward working on speed and other things. It doesn't happen overnight though, so you have to be patient. I don't expect to see a huge jump in my performance in the next 12 to 16 weeks, maybe a little bit, but I believe I will see the effect in full in the next year or 2. I expect to get better and faster by actually training slower, which might sound controversial, but that's a scientifically proven fact, and tens of thousands of endurance athletes experience these benefits when switching to Zone 2 training, so I hope it will work for me too. I know my next race is only 4 months away, but I don't just think about my next race, which will be probably cancelled anyway, but instead I think about the long term. My plan is to do a full Ironman before I turn 40, and that takes some time to get prepared for. But back to Zone 2 and its benefits. Besides the general improvement in your aerobic capacity, which is a rather long-term effect, it can also help you avoiding injuries from the get-go. I've had some foot injuries since I started running 2 years ago, and I feel like it could only get worse by increasing the mileage during my preparation for the half Ironman. So I cut back on intensity by keeping my heart rate in zone 2 at least 80% of the total time during my weekly training. I still have some tempo runs and higher intensity bike sessions just to maintain strength and give my muscles a different kind of stimulus, but I keep them very short and I don't do too much of them at this stage. Other benefits of Zone 2 training is that it helps you build muscular endurance and durability by running and cycling slower but covering more distance without accumulating too much fatigue, which eventually can lead to injuries again. And one more thing, you can keep an eye on your form and improve it while running or cycling slow. It took me a couple of weeks to bring my knees closer to each other on the bike, and that's just one thing I managed to do by slowing things down a bit. I know there is still plenty of room for improvement in my running form, but I will get there eventually. So as you can see, there is plenty of benefits of doing Zone 2 training. The downsides, however, are more psychological than physical. Sometimes it's simply too hard to slow down. It doesn't feel natural even if you are a slow runner as I am to begin with. But you have to leave your ego at home when you go out for a run and stop worrying about your Strava PBs and Instagram likes and stick to the plan and keep doing it consistently for months and months or maybe even years to come. As I said, I don't expect to see results next week or next month, but I know that it will be beneficial to me in terms of my performance, fitness and health down the road. And I plan to stay in this triathlon game as long as I can, so I have to be, or at least try to be, smart about it. Well, maybe the smartest thing would be getting a coach, but for now I'm sticking to my own plan and trust that it will take me all the way to the finish line in September, and then we will see what comes next. That's it for today. I hope you found the video at least a bit interesting or helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you didn't, well, then you also know what to do. But regardless of which way your thumbs are pointing right now, I really appreciate you taking the time and watching my video. See you guys next time.